Now I've got the Chief Executive on the line to talk more about the company's strategy as well as the numbers. That's Curro Chief Executive Andries Greyling. Andries, many thanks as always for your time this afternoon. Let's start with that important point about the fact that you were able to grow learner numbers by about 7%. I mean, it's a tough economy. There's COVID-19. Where are these learners coming from?
Thank you for having us. If you look at us before lockdown last year, the company were able to grow up till about 63,000 learners, and then we went into lockdown and predominantly lost learners in our preschools. So overall, if you know Curro the business, we've got various models that we've currently got in place, from our select brand of schools, which are schools that we acquired, to the Curro traditional schools that we constructed from the beginning years 29 onwards. And then we started what we call the Curro Academy model, which is predominantly in not the same affluent areas as the other private schools. And I'm happy to say our strategy of making schooling more affordable throughout South Africa, we saw growth within all our brands. From the end of last year until the beginning of this year. So it's over the spectrum throughout all our brands within South Africa.
Yes, and this is very interesting because during the week we've reported on various surveys about South Africa's middle class being under financial distress. How much of that story was reflected in your financials?
The biggest risk for us we saw were learners that sadly left us at the end of the academic year, December 2020. Those learners, which specifically had school fees in arrears, we not recovering those outstanding debt as we had in past years. So there, the logic of the middle class and consumer being under pressure, we've seen it as well as in certain industries that's not opened up fully to the economy yet. So we've seen that, we provided for that, and that's been seen in our results, and one of the predominantly reasons why the profitability is a bit down compared to the prior year. But I'm also glad to say that learners currently within our school system, the profile of the payment of our learners are getting better year on year, which for us is a good surprise within the current environment.
Right, let's speak about the pandemic now and really just how Curro schools have been dealing with COVID-19 protocols. Also, what happens to, or what Curro's strategy will be going forward for teachers who choose not to get vaccinated? Is there a possibility that they might get retrenched or other actions in that kind of area?
If you look at the industry and also the pledge from the Department of Basic Education over the last few months to the sector, and also going out of their way to get the sector vaccinated, and looking at your profile as an employer, we are dealing with human capital on a daily basis, and as a responsible citizen of the world and of South Africa, I truly believe that we as a company need to take a stance to protect our own employees, to protect our children, and to protect our parents and the communities we serve in. So we've made the decision after consultation with the Department of Basic Education as well as various legal consortium on the way forward. For us, we feel the right thing and the proud thing to do is to become a company that is vaccinated. And then obviously, currently there are staff within the community, within our stable that's choosing not to do it. Now, it's not just going to be retrench and, firing of staff members. That's not who we are. It's not in your DNA. And I also don't think you're allowed to do it just by going in and lay down these rules. So it will obviously be a consultative process that we will follow, and over the next few months try and get our people the knowledge required on vaccination, and should there be a reason for them not to get vaccinated, try and understand the logic behind it. Because as you've seen, the more throughout the world where people got vaccinated and economies are opening up, and the death ratio are getting down and lesser. So we need to get stability, and I think as a business that's working with human capital, we are proud in taking a stance as quickly as possible.
Very interesting insights there, Curro Chief Executive Andries Greyling, not saying much when it comes to the action that they will take on teachers or educators who choose not to get vaccinated, but they are in consultations with the relevant stakeholders.